is a weapon of pure patriotism, a symbol of liberty gifted to every citizen of Super Earth. But when you're in Helldiver mode, knee deep in bug guts and laser fire, does any of that actually matter? The R212 Constitution is a gun that the community just can't agree on. It's a ceremonial rifle from a bygone era, yet some divers swear it has some hidden power, while others call it a liability to managed democracy. So, we're settling the debate. We took this bolt action relic into the deadliest mission on the galaxy to find out the truth. Is this rifle a hidden gem? A secret meta weapon just waiting for its moment? Or is it a beautiful, patriotic piece of junk that's going to get you and your squad killed? This is the brutal, honest truth. First, let's break it down. The Constitution is a bolt action rifle, a real throwback. On paper, its stats are a mixed bag. It hits hard with a respectable 180 damage and medium armor penetration, which sounds fantastic. But then you see the catches: a tiny 5-round internal magazine, a sluggish fire rate, and a reload that forces you to feed each bullet in one by one. This is not a spray and pray weapon, it's a ceremonial rifle, and it feels just like it. Every action is deliberate, in a game that is usually pure chaos. So the real question is, can this high damage and armor penetration make up for its agonizingly slow handling? To find out, we ran the gauntlet, Helldive difficulty missions against the bugs, bots, and squids. So our first drop was straight into the bug territory, and right away, the Constitution's biggest flaw slapped us in the face. When a bug breach erupts and you're staring down a tidal wave of hunters, pouncers, and warriors, having only 5 shots before a marathon reload is a death sentence. It was a constant desperate cycle. I'll line up a perfect headshot on a warrior, dropping it within a single satisfying crack. But in the time it took to chain in the next round, 3 hunters were already mid-air, sailing towards my face. The rifle just can't handle crowds. Its damage per second is one of the lowest of any primary in game, and you feel that gap every single second you're being swarmed. But it wasn't all bad. The medium armor penetration gives the Constitution a small specific niche. It can punch right through the heads of blue commanders, dropping them in a few clean shots. When you have the time and space, it feels incredibly effective. You can play designated marksman, thinning out the herds by picking off dangerous medium-sized targets before they close in. The problem is, the battlefield is rarely that clean. More often than not, I was scrambling to pull out my secondary just to deal with these smaller, faster bugs, saving the Constitution only for those priority targets. And while you can technically kill a charger with it by sinking about 13 shots into this soft backside, you're just asking to get trampled on long before you finish the job. Honestly, it's not really worth it. Against the bugs, the Constitution feels like you brought a scalpel to a job that needs a sledgehammer. It's a specialist tool that struggles against the sheer numbers, making it a super risky pick to use. Next, we took the fight to the bots, dropping into the cold, metallic hell of a automaton controlled planet. And here, the story completely changes. Against the automatons, the Constitution actually starts to make sense, kind of. The bots tend to engage from distance, in smaller, more organized groups, which plays right into the rifle's strengths. This is where that medium armor penetration really gets to shine. A standard automaton trooper, down in one shot. Picking that pilot out of a scalp strider, one well-aimed bullet. But the real star of the show is his performance against Devastators. With good aim, you can put a Devastator down with just a couple of shots to the chest or a single pop to the head, staggering them with every hit. There's nothing more satisfying than stopping the rocket salvo dead in his tracks with one perfectly placed shot from the outdated rifle. The slower, more cautious pace of bot missions give you the breathing room this weapon needs. You can take cover, pick your shots, and systematically dismantle patrols from a safe distance. The iron sights are surprisingly accurate, and with plenty of ammo reserves, you'll rarely run dry. Of course, the weaknesses are still there. It is great for taking out single armored targets, but it crumbles the second you're under focus fire. The moment a dropship unloads a heavy patrol, and you've got multiple Devastators and Berserkers marching on you, that slow motion reload becomes your worst enemy. Missing a shot is incredibly punishing when a Hulk is stomping your way, flamethrower spinning up. The lack of scope also makes counter-sniping a real challenge compared to a true marksman rifle. Against the bots, the Constitution goes from a liability to a high skill, viable option. It's not the best weapon out there, but in the right hands, it can absolutely be devastating. Lastly, the Constitution has to face none other than the Illuminate forces, which is a combined feeling of both bugs and bots when facing them. For starters, the weapons can deal with the voteless fairly easily, with only taking one shot to the head or sometimes 1 to 2 shots to the body. While that seems reasonable to use against them, it tends to fall apart the moment a whole army of them start to approach you. Once that happens, your advantage of one-shotting them fast becomes more of a disadvantage. But what about the overseers, you may ask? Don't bother. It takes too long to go ahead and kill them. While this high damage medium pen can be useful for applying higher damage when needed, its smaller mag and slow reload overall reduces the effectiveness that the rifle will have against a singular overseer. 9 times out of 10, by the time you kill a singular one, more of their bodies will appear and will kill you with little hesitation. And the rest of the Illuminate fleet will have no problems dealing with you if you ever think about taking them on with a weapon in hand. Seriously, the Constitution feels too lacking to make any sort of impact that you may think it has compared to the bugs or the bots. But we can't talk about the Constitution without mentioning the massive bayonet at the end of it. This isn't just for looks, it gives you melee attack a serious boost. The bayonet more than doubles your melee damage and gives it a medium armor penetration as well. This turns your panic melee into a surprisingly lethal tool. Against bugs, you can one-shot the hunters that get too close. And if you're running the Peak Physique armor passive, you can even decapitate warriors with a single jab. It's great for making space without wasting precious ammo. Against bots, it allows for silent takedowns on patrols, which is a niche but very useful trick. Is the bayonet good enough to pick the weapon all by itself? No, absolutely not. Melee is and should always be a last resort in Helldivers 2, but it adds a layer of versatility and fun that you just can't ignore. In those desperate moments when you're out of ammo and the berserker is in your face, a well-timed stab can be a difference between life and democratic death. So the answer to the big question, is the R212 Constitution worth it? For most Helldivers trying to clear the highest difficulties efficiently, the answer is a simple and resounding no. It's a liability in too many common situations, especially against determined squids, where its poor crowd control will actively hurt your squad. There are far more reliable and powerful options in the armory. But that's not the whole story. For the veteran Helldivers, who master the basics and want to spice things up, the Constitution is a uniquely satisfying challenge weapon to use. Every devastator you drop with a clean shot, every bug breach you survive with clever bayonet work and precise aim, it all feels earned in a way that just doesn't happen with other meta weapons. If you're going to take this rifle in Helldive, you have to build around its weakness. Pair it up with a machine pistol or SMG to handle small fries, and bring stratagems like the cluster bomb or Gatling sentry to manage crowds. It can't be the star of your loadout, it has to be a specialist tool and a well-rounded kit. Ultimately, the Constitution is a weapon for the patriots, the historians, and the players who put style and challenge above raw power. It might not be the best tool for spreading managed democracy, but it's definitely one of the closest, and coolest. But that's just my take after running it through the ringer. The debate is far from over. What do you think? Is the Constitution a secret powerhouse I'm just not using right? Or is it destined to be a collector's item in the army's wall? Let me know your thoughts and your best loadouts down below in the comments. And if you enjoy these deep dives, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell button for more Helldivers 2 analysis. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next drop.